Frida, hi, Barrett.
Yeah, hi Teresa.
How are you? Long time no see.
I'm great. I had a great talk some minutes ago.
Hi.
Awesome. Hi, Abrahita. How are you on this fine evening?
Yeah, I'm very good. I
Oh,
had a
glad
nap
to
in the
hear.
afternoon just to make sure if this call goes longer and have a high energy.
There you go. You're planning ahead. I love it. Good
Yeah.
strategy. Good strategy. I know when we met, is our recording on? Yes, it is. Today is day 3 of the Half Price Dads Bootcamp. Super excited. It's going to be a day of graphics, and I've got a cool framework to show you that you may have heard of, you may not have. We're going to get into that.
hmm
And before we launch into all of that, we've had 2 calls so far, the first call and a second call with Michael Roderick. And our call with Michael was so filling. I think everyone left wowed and amazed and with a lot of good thoughts in their head. But we didn't get to any of the Q&A if you had anything left over from the first session, or even if you have anything left over from the second session. So let's go ahead and start with that.
I don't have any question right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
me too. I don't have any question at the moment. Yeah.
Fantastic. So what we're going to do today is jump into a bit of fun with graphics. And I'm going to show you a little bit about something called the dollar a day test.
Hmm, Nice.
Yeah. Have you heard of the dollar a day ad strategy?
Mhm. No.
No?
Yeah, I guess we have run the video view campaign for £1 a day, not $1 a day, but yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I want to make sure I pull up the right account to show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to share my screen with you. Up. Yep, sure did. Can you see my ads manager?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Facebook has given us 6 objectives to work with. So one of the things to think about when people are coming over for dinner is appetizers, something before the main meal. Maybe you'd like to have a couple of side dishes with the main meal. There's always dessert, of course, and possibly anything special you'd like to have on the table. Maybe there's a special homemade bread from your grandmother's recipe you'd like to share with everybody. And when you're setting the table and thinking of your menu, think of your campaigns the same way. Somebody's knocking on my door here. If I could just pause the recording for a moment. So when you're setting the table and you're having your guests over for dinner and you have this beautiful menu planned, it's the same way you want to think about your campaign. And you have 6 objectives, 6 reasons, 6 styles of people to actually consume the information about whatever it is that you're advertising. And one of them is called a video view. Another thing is, just engaging with you. They can purchase, and they can go to your website and just kind of tire kick and look around. So when you go to your green create button here, each of these different objectives serves a different purpose. Just like when you're planning your menu for your dinner, your appetizers, you wouldn't have those in the middle of the meal. You would have those at the beginning of the meal. Think of your awareness campaign as your appetizer. This is always at the beginning of the customer journey with you. Your traffic campaign, you've gotten their attention and you've whetted their appetite. Once they've whetted, and they're showing an interest, but they're not quite buying yet. So just like someone who's come over to your house for dinner, you've given an appetizer at the beginning of the journey, and then you might have something else for them to whet their appetite or a side dish to go along with it. On the customer journey, engagement is really kind of messy. Engagement is known in the advertising world to attract trolls. Trolls are the people that will put nasty comments on your ads. They will repeatedly hit the emoji just to throw off the algorithm. And they're rarely an ideal client. I do tend to stay away from engagement. It's kind of like serving your good friends and family a food that's been in the refrigerator a little too long. So if the engagement doesn't blend well with the customer journey, and it doesn't blend well with your dinner. I did find an exception to that I'll bring to your attention here in a moment. Leads is one of the parts of the customer journey. So as you're serving dinner and you're serving your main meal, the leads, yay, that's what everybody gets excited about. Pass the side dish, pass the leads. This is part of your customer journey, and also should be part of as you're planning out your campaign from a higher, like 10,000 foot level. App promotion, this is the person that comes to dinner that nobody knows what they do. Nobody understands what they eat, why they eat what they eat. It doesn't fit into the customer journey because it's very, very, very specific. Unless you are specifically promoting an app, that is the only time you would ever use this event. Just like I was having dinner at my girlfriend's in Italy, and her son-in-law's girlfriend only eats a very particular type of, it looks like a pancake, but it's got like a man-made protein in it. She's vegan. She will only eat this particular, she won't eat pasta. So if you've got somebody unusual come over for dinner, yeah, and you have to have something unusual on the plate. Yeah. But anyhow, the app is kind of like out there. It's the forgotten thing on this menu. Sales, these are where all of your purchases happen. I like to think of the sales as the dessert at the dinner table. When you're planning out your menu, you want to have everybody be happy with what they're eating and have enough of what they need. Same with your customer journey. Are they aware of you? Or if they're not, yeah, you would want to start with this. Traffic, these are your tire kickers. On the customer journey, this can be important, but these are not your buyers. This is not the main dish. This is not dessert. Leads could be a side dish, definitely part of almost every customer journey. Apps, well, apps are apps. Sales, this is the dessert. This is where everything leads to. This is the yummy stuff. You may have heard the saying, life's short, eat dessert first. Often at a buffet, when everyone's at the beginning of the line waiting to get their plate and put the salad on, I will go to the dessert end because there's nobody there yet. And as I'm enjoying a dessert at the table, people are sitting down and going, oh, where's that? Life is short, eat your dessert first. But anyhow, the $1 a day strategy uses video views. So we saw that underneath your awareness campaign. As you see over here on the right-hand side, it's good for video views. We also saw this under engagement. Go to awareness first. The awareness is, what's the bad part about engagement? Put it in the chat. It begins with the letter T. What's bad about an engagement ad? Oh yeah, the trolls. Good job, Abrahita. And Jody, so app promotion will be more for SaaS companies and such. Well, if it's truly an app, when I'm saying an app, I'm saying it's like something that goes on your phone. For example, Venmo is an app. Yeah. Kindle, is an app now. So if you're promoting an app for the phone, but a SaaS company, SaaS is a product. It's well, I shouldn't say it like that. A SaaS stands for service, sales as a service. It's a fantastic way to set up a platform. So it goes beyond being just something on the computer. So you could use all of these options except for app for a SaaS company. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if it does. Okay. Woohoo. Cool. All right. We're going to hit this awareness. Hit our blue continue button. And I am going to do the naming convention of TOF for top of funnel and video view. VV for video view. I do like spaces in there. And from there, I'm going to double check that nothing down here is turned on. I don't want it turned on. The awareness ad. We're going to change this ad set name to, we're going to use a 1 for top of funnel and then VV for video view. I'm going to put my date in here. This is the naming convention I started using years ago and it haven't changed. Must be working, right? So you want your objective. 1, 2, or 3 stands for 1 is top of funnel, 2 is middle of funnel, 3 is bottom of funnel. So 1, top of funnel, video view, date, and then my audience is going to go next. And then from there, I'm going to put the ad name. So Jody's asking context here. Are we covering headline tests? That's a great question. I launched into the lesson first. We did have a Q&A section. So if you do have questions, we come back to that. So right now we're going into the $1 a day test. $1 a day. We want to make sure that this has maximum through play views. And the Facebook page is pretty self-explanatory. Now, dynamic creative is going away. There was a time when you could use dynamic creative for a video view ad, and it would do great. I'm going to leave it off and show you a different way to get this set up. Now, a budget, it's literally $1 a day. Now, depending on the exchange rate and where you're at, like I have Canadian clients, and it's $1.45 Canadian for them. Depending on where the euro is compared to the US dollar, it would be the equivalent of $1 to a euro. Same with the British pound, it would be the equivalent of $1 to the British pound. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Okay, awesome. The start date is going to autofill. We're not going to put an end date in here. Audience controls. We're going to skip down to the second box. We're going to switch to our original audiences. We're going to use the original audience. And this is where you not only get to see which video is working out for you, but you also, at a very, very low cost, get to build awareness with a new group of people that could possibly be interested in your product or service. So for example, as you're selling copywriting, your copywriting services could be good for someone in marketing, or it could be good for an entrepreneur. These are different groups of people. Facebook identifies them in what's called detailed targeting. I like to use the $1 a day method to find new audiences, new groups of people for services. I recently had a client that decided he didn't want to serve a certain group of people. Okay, we took him out of the mix. His cost per leads almost doubled. My job as the media buyer for him was to find another audience that would reduce his costs. I found a new audience using this method. Yes. So when you're planning out your campaigns in that 90-foot view, and it's just like setting the table, like how much do I need to spend on my dessert? How much do I need to spend on my main dish? How much do I need to spend on my appetizers? And you know what your whole budget is, right? So if you look at that whole budget, 100%, 60% of your budget is for your cold audience. Write that down. That's very important. 60% is cold audience. 30% is warm audience, and 10% is your bottom of funnel. So as you're looking at those 6 objectives, you're going to start to learn where to play with this. This top of funnel video view ads, these are cold audiences. This is part of your 60%. So if you have, just to use round numbers, if you have $100 a day to spend, I'm going to use at least $18 to $20 in my video views because I want 18 to 20 different audiences becoming aware of the product. If I'm spending $10 a day, I'm going to use $2 to $3 just on my video view audiences. So this is why this is such an important part for you to be aware of moving forward. The detailed targeting is right here. You have to go to the original audiences to find this. And as you can see, unless I move my cursor across detailed targeting, that's the only time this edit button comes up. And using this box here, this is where I can put in, things like entrepreneurs. Oh, didn't spell that right, did I? And then from here, Facebook's going to give me all these different audiences. And pick up with the one that you want. And oops, I wanted that to stay in there. Rather have that than the entrepreneurs. Okay. So I'm just simply going to copy. This will go right here in my audience name. See how that works? So now I know when I'm looking at my ad set name, who the audience is. Now placements, you're at the top of funnel. This is going to be a cold, and it's videos. So click on your manual placements, remove audience network, remove messenger. And then in this first section, placements, if this isn't open, it looks like this, just click on the triangle to the side and you want to turn off the marketplace, Instagram Explorer, Instagram Explorer Home, Facebook Business Explorer. The next box, just make sure your messenger stories is not checked. The box after that, we're going to uncheck the in-stream ads for videos and reels, and we're also going to uncheck results. Is this making sense? Does it sound familiar? Yeah, yeah. It's the exact same placements that you would use for your headline test. Yeah. Okay, so on our next screen, this is where the ad name is going to go at the top. And as we scroll down, we've got our page, our Instagram account. Uncheck this multi-advertiser ads. It's one of the ways Facebook takes your money without you getting a lot of benefit. It sounds like a good idea, and they're very good at wording these things so it sounds like a good idea and that you check it off. Uncheck that box. I'm going to send people to a website. The website URL would go in here. Well, this is going to be interesting. Let me see what we got. Okay. Nothing popped up yet. Add creative. Here's where you would add your video. So you can choose to populate your primary text, your headline, all of that, your description. It's going to show you, just like with your graphics, it's going to show the videos that you already have uploaded before in other ads. It's also going to show you anything that's on your page, anything that's on your Instagram account. You can use the URL of the video. There's no business videos there yet. As you see, I've got plenty here. So this one with Dr. Jean Hess was kind of fun. This was from the AI Club. And look, I can trim the video if I want. Its current length is 1,749 seconds. The reason I bring this up, as you can see down here, this is a 29-minute long video for all practical purposes. When you are testing audiences, you want a 30-second long video. This video would be good for a warm audience, not a cold. Because your cold audience isn't going to pay that much attention. You can go up to 2 minutes for your cold audience, but more than that, it's kind of a waste. So this would be better for middle of funnel. So I can cancel this. It's going to populate it anyway. I'm going to throw it in the trash can. Go back to selecting my video. Go through these screens. And I don't know that I have a 30. This one might be 30 seconds. This is a testimonial. Okay, less than a minute. This would be a good top of funnel video for me to use. It's less than a minute. And it's just like your graphics. It's going to show you these different versions. And one-on-one doesn't look too bad. The original is telling me that it's going to get cropped. When it gets cropped, these areas where the checkers are gets filled in with a color. And Facebook will do its best to match the color of what's going on in the video. So it might pick up, the color of the tiles on the ceiling. It might pick up the color of his apron or the color of his shirt. I'm going to click done. And then just like you would on your graphics, on an ad with graphics, you put your text in. You definitely want to add a destination. You put your headline in and your description. Now, in the ad set levels, who remembers, do we turn dynamic creative on or do we leave it off? Off.
We leave it off.
Dynamic creative, you turn off. You leave your dynamic creative off. Okay. What I'm going to have you do instead, have five variations of your primary text. And you can do that. I'm just going to go, now I can add my second one by clicking on this box here. It opens up my second box. So I can put in my second variation. I can click it again in my third box. Now let's say I've used some ad copy or primary text in another ad and I want to use it again. If I click on this drop-down arrow here for the text used previously, this new pop-up window is going to show me any text that was used in a video view ad. It may or may not include anything from a sales objective ad or purchase objective or traffic. Facebook's sorting this out right now. I suspect in good time, you'll be able to see all of your ad text but right now it's kind of disjointed. So what I could do, there's a ad copy here from a previous ad that I've run. I can copy it using the copy icon. I need to close the window and then put my cursor in that third box and right click and then click paste. So you would continue this process until you have 5 of these. So I'm just gonna go there. Now look at the Facebook knows it's the same copy.
Mhm.
So I have to X out of there. Now if I went up here and I number 4.
So remind me again, the primary text is it's the ad body copy, right?
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, now headline, same thing. You're gonna put headline 1 in, and then using this box over here, you'll put headline 2 in. You can use this drop down arrow to get headlines you've previously used. Just by using that copy icon, close it, put it in there. And you would continue with 5 there. Descriptions, same concept. You want 5 descriptions. Now, cold audience, anything other than suggesting that they learn more really isn't going to go over very good. Unless it's a download. But this is a video view ad. People aren't here to download anything. Video view ads can be the cornerstone of your entire campaign. Okay, so we're not adding any event details. We're not putting any translations in there. And just like what's described in your profitable ads playbook is tracking, you want website events, and you do want to build out your URL parameters, just as it's explained in the profitable ads playbook. And then from there, you would publish it. So thoughts, comments, suggestions, questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have one. If you want, you can go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, go ahead, Jody.
Teresa, can you repeat the budget percentages again?
Yes.
So you had said
It's-
60% cold,
Yeah,
30%.
middle,
Okay. 10%.
bottom, hot. That 10% at the bottom is your retargeting budget.
Okay.
So if I've got $100 budget, I've got $10 a day to retarget. If I have a $10 a day budget, I've got $1 a day to retarget.
And how do we determine the 30%? Like what audience? So 60% is cold. And is this just for video view or is it for
This is
any
your entire campaign budget. And this
entire
is
campaign
where,
budget?
yeah. So if you imagine you've gone to, you're out to dinner with friends and you know you've got $100 to spend that night. And you're at one place and you're having drinks and you're like, oh, okay, $25 for drinks. I've got $75 left for dinner. But if you know dinner's going to run you $90, you're only going to spend $10 on drinks. Same thing with your ad budget here, okay? The cold top of funnel, that's where you get awareness. That's what starts to crank everything. Now, I don't do a lot of e-commerce. My specialty is service businesses. And the reason is, I don't get why you would just put out sales ads. E-commerce uses a totally different formula. This formula works for service-based businesses. It's a totally different game plan for e-commerce. I'm being very, yeah. Yeah, so if you're going to sell, you know, a widget, coaster, a mouse, your budget allocation is going to be a little different. And when you look at top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom of funnel, depending on the size of your, like, let's say, you know, you've got $1,000 to spend in a month, you've got $500 to spend in a month. You take it and you divide it by 30. That's your daily ad spend. Marketing's math. Once you have your daily ad spend, then you know you can divide that with the percentages and you know how much is going at top, middle, and bottom. So,
And so middle, the 30% would be warm. Would that be, is that also a retargeting percentage based on anybody who had
Nope.
clicked? How do you
well,
determine
it could
who
be.
those people are?
It could be a retargeting audience, yes.
Okay. But what is it generally?
Well, one of the things I want to be sure that you're keenly aware of is you don't have to have all three levels.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're dealing with a $30 a day ad budget, you've got $3 a day for bottom of funnel. Okay.
7 for, or 6 or 7 for top of funnel.
Right.
Okay.
One of the things that can happen is you end up meshing your middle of funnel and bottom of funnel together. You still have 60% at top of funnel. That's your big kahuna. And then you can push your middle of funnel and bottom of funnel together. You know, for example, if I have a $30 a day ad budget, I'm going to spend yeah, like $17, $18 a day top of funnel cold. Out of that $17 or $18, I want to do about $8 in video view ads. So I'm going to have 8 audiences feeding. And this is part of your formula for success. If you stick with one audience, you've missed the opportunity to serve other people with your product or service. There's a
So would
lot-
would it be possible for you to kind of create a strategy handout related to how to think about that and the percentages? Because you just said, like,
came
this
up
is
with a
about
really
video
good
view
graphic in my
audience.
head. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking
There was
video
just with
view
me in a
audience,
pod
but then
call.
we've got the
I
other
don't have the brain
audience.
width right now.
Yeah, no. It's
I hear
stretching,
what you're saying, but you've
I'm
got
stretching my thing.
just think about if you had $17 a day for your top of funnel, and then you had another $12 to $13 for your middle of funnel to your bottom of funnel. That's where you're gonna start retargeting. That 2-minute long, that 30-minute long video, I'm gonna put $2 a day behind it at middle of funnel. So out of my $12 for my middle of funnel and my retargeting, I now have $10 left over. And people, okay, when you're eating dinner, you know, some people are kind of fanatical about working their plate, and they will only eat the meat first, and then they'll only eat the green beans, and then only eat the rice. Well, people are funny that same way with ads. They will only look at a video and then think about it and then go back. Oh, now I think I'm ready to purchase. I'm ready to eat my meat. Oh, now, okay. Oh, I want seconds. Okay. Rarely. Okay. So when I'm using this analogy of people eating, they're doing the same thing online with ads. They're not consuming everything the same way at the same time. The person at this end of the table is eating different things on their plate that this other guy is not eating. So you've got to have a full smorgasbord. You have a full opportunity using those five out of the 6 objectives. If your budget isn't big enough to use all of those, that's okay. Because like traffic objective, you only want to use if you're looking for tire kickers. Or if you're testing. So your traffic objective is great for testing and tire kickers. That's it. Awareness is fantastic for top of funnel.
Okay. So if I understand right,
Okay.
just if we have 5 euros per day as budget, this is too low. because if you use this formula, then you have a few cents for one objective. This does not make sense, right?
Well, let me see, 5 times 30. That's $150. That's very low. Yeah, that is pretty low. If you did €5 a day, you'd want to do at least like $1 for €1 for the video view.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would use the other €4 for your sales objective. It's
Mm.
gonna be tough. Yeah. Usually $500 or €500 a month is minimum to get started with ads. It's pretty unusual to be successful at anything less than that.
Mm. Okay.
One of the
Can you-
things I
Can
highly
you repeat that
recommend,
again? What did you just say dollar amount for success?
$500. And I've seen wild success, depending on what you're trying to do, of course. Okay, now here's the exception to that. All right, you're advertising your service. You've spent $500 a month. You've got fantastic clients. You don't need another client right now. Roll that ad budget back. Turn off everything except the video view ad. Always keep your video view ad running, because it keeps you out there. And it's pretty rare for a video view ad to like go totally kaput.
Would that be the case? Would you keep it running even if the frequency is above 1.3? I mean, because
Depends on
that's
the
kind of,
circumstances.
okay. Because we still have Latane's video view ad running, and it's like in the last 7 days, it's at a 1.56. And so like it's a kind of a nuance thing, I suppose.
It really is, yeah. So if it's 1.56 at $1 a day, you can't reduce the budget to reduce the frequency, which is the normal strategy. I would keep it running. The other thing you can do is go into your ad set level and see if you can add audiences in there, add people in there. See what suggestions Facebook has for you and add those. And that'll change your frequency because you've got more people. How's everybody feeling? I know it was a lot.
I'm pretty excited, and I just get a few more ideas for the campaign.
This is one of those unusual, unique pieces that I always hesitate because it's higher level strategy. But here's the deal. Unless you know what ad to use when, you're just kind of flying blind.
Mhm.
And I know I took a 16-week course
Mm.
with Molly Pittman, and Ezra Firestone was one of her guest speakers. Ezra Firestone's built a few 8-digit companies and sold them. And he came right out and said, it's going to take everybody in this room at least 3 years to become an expert. So don't feel like, oh my God, I can't do this. Do it in baby steps and do it only for what you need. And this is why I'm telling you about scenarios that are specific to you. Like once you have enough clients, just let the video view ads run. I know other copywriters, this is what they do. They just run video view ads.
Mm.
Yeah, I've got people I run leads for, and it's $500 a month. I run 5 video view ads, and the rest is all leads. Now, if I have somebody come along and they have no audience and they want to sell something, we need to get more awareness. So I'm going to use some traffic just to test, but part of that testing, I'm going to see what works, and I'll see if they have the budget to run both a link click and a purchase. And then eventually turn that link click off, because I don't want to spend the money like that. I want the purchases and the leads. You've got to have everything to make it work. And so many times I see ad accounts where, well, I'm selling something. Why do I need a video view ad? I'm selling something. Should be a purchase ad. If you walk into a store and the salesman says, what do you want? I've got this fantastic mattress over here. You want a bed? You want a mattress? I'll sell it to you now. That's what a sales ad only approach does. You've got all of the senses to appeal to, and all the ways people like to consume things, whether it be graphic or video. And think about, and you're all very intelligent, and you're aware of the different ways your audience thinks about things. I know, Jody, when you ran your graphic test, you discovered a graphic you didn't think would work, and it did. Yeah. And then
I think the thing that I'm questioning, Teresa, is, okay, if I'm serving clients that don't have a $500 a month budget to start this process, does it even make sense? And how do
you're
you
doing what? You're doing $300 a month?
on this particular one, yes. Like we're doing $12 a day, right? So,
Right.
but our lead ad is turned off right now for that optimization. But I guess we have $1 on the video view ads,
Yeah.
and the rest was going, towards that. So, I mean, is it really possible to get traction if you don't have that $500 a month client? Does
Well,
it make sense?
you're getting results. So there's a possibility I misspoke.
Okay. And, like kind of, I guess I want to know what do you think based on your experience is the bare minimum for clients like this?
Well, if you've got $10 a day, work with it. And you've just got to get creative with your audiences. If your $1 a day, like your frequency is really high, see if there's a different audience. Or see if Facebook, like, go to the detailed targeting box and see what else Facebook suggests to add to that audience. And I know in working with different clients over the years, finding the new audiences is how to keep the account healthy and under budget. Yeah.
And you do the audience work at the ad set level, is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Great question.
So if you're adding audience, I guess it's like so procedurally in order for it to track properly and all that, when you change the audience, you should just duplicate that ad set and rename it, or am I just adding audiences to the existing ad set?
I would keep it simple and just add audiences to the existing ad set.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does that affect tracking, or so you don't change the name? Like right now I have, it's the lookalike audience 1%. But if I add more to it.
Yeah, a lookalike audience is not a detailed targeting audience.
Okay. This is I'm confused, but I'll just.
Oh, I don't want you to be confused.
I'll have to dig in because this is too much. My brain can't sort it out. It's confusing for me. So it's just part of the learning process.
And sometimes it gets to be a lot of information. When I talk about adding audiences, I'm referring to a detailed targeting. Like, for example, you would use the family. Jody, are you still with us?
I am. I'm just looking at this. So right now it has a custom audience set I don't know why this one is still set for the lookalike and not for the married 35 through 65 male, female.
You could set up a second ad set for your married.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that.
Okay,
I'll just look into it further.
you got this, Jody. That was some good troubleshooting right there. Awesome. Awesome. That's why we're here. Very cool. Very cool. Bert and I were here. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
I use the dollar video and how it kind of blends
Yeah.
with everything else.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, I just have one more questions. Like, since well, thanks to Jody, I still learn a lot. While while you answer Jody question, I learned a lot with. I mean, her way of thinking is quite different. I mean, I didn't think out that way. I mean, it's amazing.
It is a different way to think. Yes.
Yeah.
And you might hear people talk about an avatar or an audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So my question is this: once we are running the video view ad campaign, we test one audience. Like suppose we are testing. I was testing copywriting and copywriting agency, and with the bifurcation of with the detailed targeting of which also like self-help book. So this is the audience that would perform well. But I was after like this session, I was thinking to like test more audience with different like different ad with different audience. So what is I am thinking to do? So how can I find out if the audience is actually working? I mean, what is the bare minimum criteria that the audience is actually working and it is good enough to set up the traffic campaign or the sales campaign?
Well, you'll only want to test audiences with a video view
Yeah, I want to. Yeah,
objective. Don't
yeah.
use
How
don't use
do I?
any other objective. Just test an audience because it's too expensive. It's a waste of money.
Yeah, I
And
got it. So my question is, how do I know that that audience is actually qualify for the next level?
if the outbound click-through rate from your diagnostic checklist, if your
Mm-hmm.
outbound click-through rate is 1.0 or more,
Okay.
then you've got a good audience.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would use that same audience then in your sales objective. You would use that same audience in your lead objective.
Okay.
And when you're testing out audiences, use the same ad copy and the same video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's say you've got a few different audiences you're testing, and one did
Uh-huh.
really, really great, and the other two did not. Doesn't
Uh-huh.
mean it's not a good audience. It means the audience didn't match with the ad copy and or the video. So scientifically, you approach it changing one variable at a time.
Okay.
Change the video first and
Yeah.
see,
Got it.
well, change your video first, see if that makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't, then change the ad copy.
Got it.
Yeah, don't throw the audience out. Just try new video with it. See if that makes a difference, or try new copy.
Yeah.
I often try out, I had a client when I worked with the agency, they were in the hunting industry. The hunting season starts mid-September and ends by the second week of November. So it's a very short selling season. In July, we would load up the top of funnel video view campaigns with 40 to 50 audiences. And we had like 6 videos ready to go. And if one audience didn't do well with the first video, we'd put the second video in. And it was just this constant, we did this for a month. And what happens when you do that at the top of funnel, it builds the algorithm in your favor. It trains the pixel who you're looking for. That's why I say if your schedule's full or you're going away on vacation, you don't want your ads running, let your video view ads run. because it's going to keep training the pixel. It's going to keep building the interest. We started that in July with that client. And then in August, we started scaling with the, we played a little with this different bundles and sales objectives and sales copy. And then come the middle of August, we had to scale everything. So we were running like 70 video view ads. Yeah.
With the
I
6
was in
videos in
charge of
total.
yeah. Yeah. There was actually 2 of us that worked the account because we had to work that fast and that much time that quickly. But to give you an idea, your video view ads are just the cornerstone of a campaign.
Got it.
Mary, does this make sense?
Yeah, that's making sense. I was just thinking to according to you, like what we are planning, like with the selling of book and the selling of the VIP days and maybe some consultation. So according to you, how much audience or how much time we should spend on testing and how much amount should we spend on testing to like get stable with the pixel? I mean, like a little stability with the pixel and so that Facebook understand everything.
So just make sure I understand the question. You're asking how long?
Yeah, how long it will take? I mean, it's just an assumption, so I'm just a bit curious about since you are more
Yeah.
experienced than.
Yeah, you need at least 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And
For one
Facebook,
ad.
yeah, Facebook doesn't report in real time. So for example, if I'm looking for information about today on my ads, it's not going to be there until tomorrow. I mean, I can
Okay.
look at it and see if it showed up or not. It may or may not, but I know I don't have full data until tomorrow. And that's why the 4 days is so, because 4 days, 4 calendar days gives you 3 days of data. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you told me about that. I mean, you told us about like if it's like
Okay.
if any ad is working, should at least allow 4 days to test the thing at least. But yeah,
Yes.
make sure to
Oh,
look at
and
it.
okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm just thinking to making a strategy though. I mean, like, or should I create a strategy for the testing? And if you have time, then would you like to look at it?
well, let's get through the lesson here first.
Yeah, no, not right now. I mean, after that.
Okay. I promised you some fun ideas for ad graphics.
Sure.
Now, let me see here. Graphics are changing a lot. I'm seeing changes in graphics that are amazing. They're wonderful. They're great. So in the chat, I'm putting a link to a Google Doc that has some fun different types of graphics for you. The first one I like to call toys. And I'll share my screen so we can all look at this together. So toys, it's nostalgia. If you look really closely, this first graphic, this is a house made of Legos. And the stack of dollar bills, you couldn't have done that 5, 6 years ago. So now we can put money in ads. Couldn't do that 5 or 6 years ago. So toys, how about a toy piggy bank? Now, I work with a graphic designer that comes up with this stuff. These are to give, these are here to inspire you. What kind of toy, what represents something fun for your clients? You know, for copywriting, it might be like balloons rising up. There's something fun. Yeah. The next type of graphic example I have for you is something I like to call Gumbies. Who remembers the Gumby doll? The green Gumby doll? No? Okay. So if you imagine a plastic toy that's flat as your hand, it's a person, but it's as flat as your hand. This is a Gumby doll is flat. There's nothing to indicate, you know, a stomach sticking out or a rump sticking out. It's flat. It's what's called two-dimensional in the art world. So that's why I call these particular types of ads Gumbies. They're two-dimensional. And I took these right off of the Canva designs. So don't feel like you have to go out there and learn how to do graphic design. If you go inside Canva, it has fantastic designs. These Gumby things are a great graphic, an option for you to use for your ads. Often with a client, I'll come up with one. Well, let me tell you that at the end here. So we've got Gumbies. Again, you can use it for a business webinar. This could be an advertisement for a retreat, a day out at the museum, spirituality, Christianity, using that two-dimensional figures. Another type is the movie star. Your client or yourself, you become the movie star in the ad. This is working pretty darn good these days. 3 years ago, these things fell flat for a top of funnel. I was shocked. I ran ads for a client for their webinar. The ad that did the best was the one with the picture of him on it. 5 years ago, I was running traffic using the image of the client. It didn't work for a cold audience. We had to put her image at the bottom of funnel. Her ego was crushed. So I don't know if it's a Facebook algorithm thing or what, but there's been a definite shift. If you think of Jay Abraham, who's heard of Jay Abraham? Yeah, he shows up in all of his ads. Billboard. I love this billboard style. This is a new style of graphic for an ad. 8 years ago, if you had more than 20% of your graphic covered in text, Facebook would flag the ad and stop the ad from running. Look at all the ad copy on here. This is more than 20%, right? They threw the 20% rule out a few years ago. Now look at all the stuff people are putting on ads. If you look at ads on YouTube, they're like billboards popping up in front of you. A lot of it goes back to attention span. There's only so much attention. There's only so much time to get that attention. So billboard ads have gotten very, very, very popular. Now, I also promised you this here to share with you my swipe files. I have good news and not so good news. Which one do you want first?
Good news.
The good news. Okay. The good news is I was able to find all of my current swipe files and organize them for you.
Wow.
Yeah. You want to know what the not so good news is? I think it was on Thursday or Friday of last week. I saw all of my old swipe files. I can't find them. But I will continue to look for you.
Okay.
So this second link to the Google Doc is the link to my swipe files. The new ones, the current ones. These are all very, 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 very current. And I chose these because Facebook, we've talked about Facebook placements. One of them is on Reels. Here is a Reel, the very first one. Can you find the ad on here? Raise your hand if you can see the ad. Where's the ad? Oh, you're muted, Jody. See how long it took?
Does it follow?
Yeah.
I mean, what? Okay.
I intentionally
Oh.
chose this to show you, if you use this as a placement, don't expect a lot. We couldn't even find the ad. Your
Is
viewers are
it the
doing the same
messenger?
thing. What's that?
Is it the for sending message to, I mean, messenger? Like there's an option of messenger at the end of the share button, is it?
The ad is this little piece down here, Dave Holmes TV, follow, and you can barely see it. There's actually a picture of him here. This weekend, we celebrate the 2024 Ohio State Buckeyes on WXYZ ABC and Fox, and then the word more is there. That's the ad.
Mhm.
They're paying for this. This is equivalent to driving down the highway and there was a billboard there and the text was so small you couldn't read it. So yeah. That's why I wanted you to see this. Okay. Mind map style ad. I love this. I think this is fun and wonderful. This is ideal for any process that you're explaining.
Mhm.
Yes, mind maps. Okay, this next section, webinar training and masterclass, is huge because there's so much going on in this field, this area. I have a client that's in the solar energy sector, and I'm getting all kinds of ads for invest in our energy system. And they actually have webinars on this stuff. But if you look at these webinar ads, what type of ad do they remind you of?
Billboard.
Yep, they're billboard ads. Now, the other thing I want you to take notice of here, can you see the calls to action buttons?
Learn more, sign up.
Yep. So learn more. Would you use that at the top of funnel or the bottom of funnel? Cold audience or a warm audience?
Top.
For
Top,
audience.
cold audience. Sign up, where would you use that?
Middle or bottom.
Yeah.
It seems like a middle or bottom. For a webinar, you could use it at the top.
You could, okay.
Yeah, so I want to make that distinction for you. So moving on here, we've got a few more. There's that billboard ad. And this is another.
I've seen that school community one come across my feed.
Memorable, isn't it?
Yeah.
The thing that's cool about this, in your Facebook, you can create a post with a solid color black background and just text on it, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
They took that exact same concept and made an ad with it. Yeah.
I
So-
like the balance between the owners and the join for free.
Ah,
You know what I mean? Like that's what pops it right there. It's
it
but
does
then I
make
guess
it pop.
you'd have to click learn more, or is the image clickable usually?
Well, this is kind of interesting. Canva has a feature where you can create a clickable link
Right.
in the graphic, but the graphic has to be downloaded as a PDF.
Right. And
You can only
wouldn't want to
upload.
upload that for an ad, right? It's a
You
PNG.
can't, yeah. Now
Yeah.
you can convert the PDF to a PNG. I don't know if the button works at that point or
It
not.
doesn't.
That.
No, it doesn't. It's not.
Okay. Yeah.
So it would be the learn more. The only thing I would do different on that ad is I'd try to put color behind the learn more. I try to put the green. So my eye, like your eyes look for colors of 3,
Okay. So
sets of
who
3.
has control over this button?
Do we? Facebook does, right?
Right. There's
Okay.
no control over that.
There's no control over it. I'm just saying if there was, I would do that.
Yeah, I would too. I like that idea. Awesome. Awesome. So this whole style of this ad, it's blending right in with the feed. Doesn't even look like an ad. Looks like somebody's post. Now, 5 years ago, this join for free, this ad would have gotten stopped because it looks like a false button. And for some reason, I let stuff like this work now. So there's always something different. There's always something new going on with Facebook. Wouldn't it be great to always know the first what's going on? Yeah, yeah. I'm going to share with you an opportunity to stick with me so we don't have to end all this learning on Friday. Okay, so this one here, I would have never have chosen this to run for a client. It's a winning ad. I know.
But you know why it is a winning ad? I think is because it's simple. There's simplicity to it. You don't get muddled down in any details. It's just boom, boom. It's like writer's block, free training. Here's the date. Boom.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. It calls out the avatar.
Yep.
This reminds me.
Writer, and it's a kind of subtle, but the avatar is writers who have writer's block. You see that?
Yeah. And that writer's block came out of the headline test. It was one of the 20 headlines that got tested. And even my client said, where did you get that from? I'm like, it came out on the headlines. Yeah. So,
I like the subtleness of how that kind of plays against each other. Like it's not, yeah, there's just something kind of really cool about that. I can see why it works. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could see that there's a huge difference between this versus the billboard. Yeah.
I mean, the guy isn't particularly attractive or anything like that, but there is an authenticity that it kind of conveys as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's cool.
So, okay. Who recognizes this guy?
Yeah, and I would just blow past that one.
Ah.
Because I do recognize him. I already know his gig,
Oh,
like that.
okay. Interesting. This was obviously a screenshot off my phone. And he's been running this. This was in stories. This is a screen story. Facebook will add the link to your stories ad. Okay. And this one I thought was interesting. At the very end of the video ad is the call to action. I intentionally took the screenshot of the end of the video so you can see there's a call to action at the end of the video. And think about it, when people get to the end of the video, are they wondering what to do next?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So was that clickable, or is it's just coming up kind of almost like a video end card? Is that what your perception of it is?
I don't know how they created the video. I know YouTube creates end cards. I don't know if they used Canva and it's the last slide on the Canva that made the video. It's not clickable. It's not clickable. You've got to come down here and use the CTA, the call to action button.
It just is how that overlay where it says sign up, hero@darrenhardy.com. It makes it look like it's clickable, but
it does.
Yeah.
And that watch again must be, that must be coming up in the video player that's being embedded for the ad.
Yes. Now in 100% transparency, this might be clickable. I don't think I tried to click it. That would be great if it was.
It kind of appears like it is because the watch again if that's in the video player, that would be clickable. So it makes you think they added that as custom coding in the video player, the sign up button. That's kind of my guess. That's
That would
pretty
be-
creative.
Yeah. So some different ideas for you with your graphics. How about if you're selling widgets? A picture of the widget. I know it's plain and it's boring. It actually works. There's a company out there called Flare.ai, I believe it's called, where it will actually give you images of your product, and they call it positioning. For example, there's a woman that gets paid thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to properly position a Ritz cracker. You know, whether that Ritz cracker is in the person's hand in front of the television, whether that cracker is on a tray with food around it, whether that cracker is, you know, swirled across the plate with other crackers, that's called positioning. So if you're selling widgets, a plain shot of the product can work, or you can position the product like with a background of a car being washed.
So thinking about this, like, again, this would be e-com, right?
Right.
If you have a product, so that's not really applying to us because we're looking at services, unless of
Right.
course, like I'm thinking with Abrahitas, like it's a book and you have a picture of the book,
Yeah.
right? I wonder if there's a creative way to think about it related to service. Like how do you, if you could put your service in the idea of a package, like
Well,
what might that look like?
There's different types of graphic software that come up with, you know, 3D or three-dimensional images of a product. And what you do then is you tell them, you know, the name of your service, ABC service, and they put it on top of this 3D image. That it's kind of hokey at this point because the internet's gotten very sophisticated. That would have worked 10 years ago. It definitely would have worked when the internet first started. I think it did work back then.
Is it like the Place It, I think is an app that does that too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just, it's fascinating.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got that link, and I am going to continue to look for my original swipe files because I have so many. I'm just chagrined. I'm like, I've searched with every single word I can think of, and then I was just scrolling through looking for something else. But oh, that's where that is. I'll remember.
You never have that problem.
I will find it for you. I promise. I promise. Okay, now, how's everybody feeling?
Overwhelmed,
Feeling overwhelmed?
a little overwhelmed. Yeah, just got to think about it. I'm thinking maybe I just need to hire Abrahita to do my ads.
Yeah.
You never know. Never know. My goodness. Okay. So our next call is Friday, and we're going to go into that retargeting subject.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's going to be time to bring out the good old AI tool, ChatGPT. Dun-dun. And I know some of you I've had the joy of working with in a coaching scene for the past year or so at a coaching platform. And I'd like to, I know, Barrett, you and I talked about you joining the coaching, and we seen you on that. And Abrahita, I'd like to extend that to you as well. It's an opportunity for you to have access to me on a weekly basis. We meet every Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. So that would be 10 p.m. your time. On every Wednesday we meet. And what I like about this particular opportunity is it keeps you abreast of anything that's going on and changing. If you've got hiccups with ads, Jody's been known to reach out to me via text and go, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I do respond. And the huge benefit of this type of group coaching scenario includes the opportunity to go to the AI club calls, and those are twice a month. Those are on the second and fourth Tuesdays of every month. So how many of you feel like, yeah, AI is something that I should keep in my back pocket and have an awareness of? Yes.
Yeah, of
Definitive.
course.
Yes. So definitely you want to look at having something like that for yourself.
You know, truthfully, Teresa, I wouldn't have made it this far if I hadn't been connected and coaching with you, because there's just so many variables. And I feel like I'm a pretty intuitive, on top of things, but there's so much.
There
And
is.
I really do rely on your expertise to get me through and help me serve my clients related to this. So it's worth it to me.
Oh, yay. I'm so grateful that you stuck with it and that you have you have a curiosity and a drive for perfectionism and you want to understand things. And that's what you got to have. Yeah. And look at you, you're providing a whole new service to your clients because of it. Nice.
I'm trying.
Nice. You're doing great. You're doing great. Awesome. Okay. So I look forward to seeing everybody on Friday for our fourth call. I understand from a few of the alumni, they'll be joining us. And looking forward to, man, just hitting out of the ballpark for y'all. Awesome. Oh, Barrett mentioned he did get invitations to both the circle and the school group. So I'm going to go with school. So pay attention. Yeah. When you see some stuff from school, it's coming from me.
Yeah, I just saw that come through yesterday. So I wanted to ask you where are we moving? We're moving to school.
We're moving to school. We're moving to school. I told the
I love
story on the pod call earlier today that I tried to set up the circle. It was like putting needles in my eyes, and woke up one morning and let me just try school. It was so easy. And then when I came to a page that I could put the Facebook pixel on in the Google Analytics, I was like, this is a no-brainer.
One second.
It is. I've had a couple communities and courses out of school, and it's been great. And it's also a great way to gain new audience too.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm sorry, Abrahita.
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, like, we can set up Facebook Pixel and Google Analytics on schools. I mean, is it?
Yeah.
What is?
Yeah.
Nice.
I worked for 2 weeks in January on a free account, asking people, what do I do next? Nobody said anything about this. And anything I researched said the best way to get a school group to grow is to use ads. So I was like, well, if I have to use ads, I might as well use Circle because I have a colleague that'll help me with Circle. Yeah, and I like Circle. I do a lot in different Circle groups. And then nobody says anything about this. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like their hidden secret to be out there in the plain open. Right? Okay, I'll see you Friday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
My pleasure.
Bye.